The islands of the Bahamas are serving as the host for the World Relays. Welcome to another episode of Inside Athletics, brought to you by the IAAF. I'm your host, Atto Bolden, and today I have one of Great Britain's best. In 2012, he was the World Junior Champion in the 100, and in both 2014 and 2016, he brought home the gold for Great Britain in the 4x1. My guest, Adam Gemili of Great Britain. Welcome to the show.
Thanks very much for having me.
So Adam, I was in Rio for the 200-meter Olympic final. You run the race of your life, and a bunch of you are staring up at the board looking to see who has gotten that bronze medal.
Yeah.
And you look up, and you're hoping, and you're praying, and you're wishing, but by 5,000ths of a second, 3,000ths of a second, excuse me,
even less, yeah.
It's not you, and you're fourth.
Yeah.
Tell me about your emotions in that moment.
It's hard to sort of convey all the emotions that I was feeling. I was very grateful, obviously, to be in the final, but I expected a lot more from myself, and even fighting for the bronze medal, I was still hoping for more than that. And yeah, seeing that it wasn't all of that hard work that I've sort of put into it, it wasn't to be. It was, yeah, heartbreaking, and it didn't sort of hit me until I got back into the warm-up area, and I went through media and I saw my family. I was actually okay. I was like good, and then I just started sobbing in the warm-up area. Like I've never sobbed like that since I was young, and it it all came out because it was over. 20 seconds and it was over, and that was it. And then now I thought another 4 years until another chance to medal at the Olympics. So yeah, it's just crazy how quickly it goes when you've done so much preparation for it. But I understood that. It took me a couple of days, and I realised there's no guarantees in this sport. I'm not doing this sport guaranteed to medal. I'm not doing this sport guaranteed to do anything, and that's a choice I'm making doing it. So that's part of something I have to accept with and live with and move on.
Now you and I have something in common, albeit 20 years apart. I was World Junior 100 Champion 92.
Yeah.
You were 2012. So I think we both sort of have a sense of nothing is promised to you when you're a World Junior Champion in the 100, because we know that there are a bunch of us that have not gone all the way. Tell me about some of the things that you put in place to make sure that you weren't going to be one of those kids where you'd look back and go, yeah, Adam Gemili, he was great as a junior, but when he made the transition to the seniors, not so much. What did you put in place, and what were you wary of?
For me, the biggest thing, and I spoke to a lot of the older sprinters. I was lucky enough to go to training camps and be in amongst some amazing athletes, training and seeing Bolt running and stuff, and actually getting to speak to him at the Olympics. And the biggest thing these guys said to me was to enjoy it and have patience. Don't rush your development. Don't go looking every time you race and go looking for a fast time. Just enjoy it, have patience, and develop at your own speed. And like you said, as a junior, it's quite a daunting thing to win the World Juniors, because you actually look at the history. The guys that actually come second, third, fourth, they're the guys that actually go on and really run fast. So to actually make sure that didn't happen, I just did me, really. I just kept smiling, kept enjoying my sport, kept trying to learn every day. And you're never the finished article. I don't ever think any athlete would ever come off the track and think, I ran a perfect race.
Right.
Everything was perfect. You always want to improve, you always want to learn, and for me that's just what I focused on, always trying to get better, and hopefully for me I can continue that and start to get even more competitive with the other guys in the world. So
now you're under 10, you're also under 20, which of course are big landmarks for sprinters.
Yeah.
But which of the two events do you think is your better event, and why?
Yeah, you said under 10 and under 20. I think again, I don't want to say overrated, but I think at the moment
these days.
It's not good enough.
In my era, being under 10 and 20 would get you on the podium.
Yeah, now it's not good enough.
It doesn't even get you in the final.
It's not good enough at all. But I think at the moment, world ranks, I think I finished third on the world rankings last year for the 200. So obviously I'd say that's probably my better event. But people sort of say, oh, just stick with the 200. But for me, that's not the sprinter that I am. I want to go to championships and be like the best in the world, like yourself and the rest of those guys who always doubled up at champs and performed. And in Britain, we've never really had someone like that. You had Limpford for the 100, you had John for the 200, but you never had someone that went and did both. And maybe I'm going to try and be that guy and give it my best and compete with the best in the world, like I said. But at the moment, the 200, I feel I've got a better world ranking, so I'd have to say that's my better event, but I enjoy both events. I really do.
Now, Great Britain hosted the Olympics in 2012, an amazing week of weather, the greatest fans in the world. We're still trying to replicate that And here it is, 2017, and the World Championships are coming back to London.
Yeah.
Do you start your year with added pressure knowing that, look, Worlds are at home this year, and yeah, I got fourth in Rio and all of that, but I have to be at my very best because everything's happening at home?
Yeah, it's never a given. Even if I got the bronze medal or the silver or the gold like in Rio, it wouldn't have made any difference because it's a completely new year.
That's right.
Everyone's in different shapes. So for me, not pressure, but it's a bit more pride, and it's a bit, like I said, you want to run, and the crowd is probably going to be mostly British people. They're going to be supporting the Brits, and everyone is going to be watching. All your friends and family will be watching at home, and the audience is going to be a lot bigger for us Brits watching. So it does give you that little added pressure to go and perform. So for me, yeah, I'm going to give it my best shot and not do anything different, and try and, like I said, try and get myself on the podium. So I'm going to do what I can. But I'm very excited. Like you said, in London, in London 2012, I've never seen 7 or 8 days of back-to-back sunshine. I've never seen that before. So yeah.
Yeah, spectacular. Yeah. So one of the things that I love about this sport is our diversity. Of course, more countries win more medals in this sport than in all the others. So people look at you and they go, okay, what is he? I know you have some Iranian in there, some Moroccan. Tell me about your background.
Yeah, so my parents, I've got Moroccan and Iranian heritage, and obviously being born in London as well. So I've got a bit of a strange mix, and not one that you'd necessarily think sprinter. Yeah. When I was young, definitely a sprinter. But for me, it seems to work, and I'm very proud of my background and my heritage, and yeah, like I said, it seems to work for me, and like you said, it's very diverse, and sometimes people look at me and think, oh, he looks a bit small, he doesn't look like he's, some of the sprinters are absolutely ripped, and when I'm looking on the start line, a lot of my friends always say, wow, look at the guy, look at that tall guy there, or that guy, how do you run against them? And I thought, you just go out there and you make it work. I make however I run fast, I make it work for me. So yeah, there's different ways that people run fast, and yeah, for me, I've found a way to do that.
What about the kids though? Because I know that, kids look at television and they go, that guy looks like I look.
Yeah.
There are people in London and in the UK who look like you. Have you had kids come up to you and say, hey, I saw you on TV and I'm also Iranian, or I'm also Moroccan?
Yeah, for me, that's probably one of the better things of this sport, is when you get someone like a young athlete and they say, oh, you've inspired me to go to the track, and I've had people come up to me and say, oh, I've got an Iranian background, or I've got a Moroccan background, and necessarily I would never have thought of trying sprinting. I've seen you and I thought, and there's no better feeling than knowing the child might not go on and make it, but to actually give them an opportunity and an idea, oh, maybe he's doing it, so I can do it, is a fantastic feeling. So I'm very lucky to be able to try and inspire people if I can, if any way.
Now you've accomplished quite a bit, but you are still very young. Tell me about when you look 5-10 years into the future, what are the things that are important to you, both as an athlete, as well as I think maybe a little bit of your legacy and where what you really want to contribute to the sport, both locally and internationally?
Yeah, so I've got a few different goals, like you said, in the sport and outside of the sport.
What are some of them?
The main thing for me is to inspire as many young athletes as I can, especially in Britain, to actually get into the sport of athletics, because it's a tough sport to be in, because there's no guarantees. You're not on, if you don't run fast one year, then things can get cut. Yeah, funding. So it's a big risk, but it is so rewarding. You travel to some amazing places, and if I can inspire as many young athletes to come through and do that, then I'll be happy outside of the sport. In the sport, actually running, I want to be the fastest person running. I want people to. I want to be the best, and you have to be. When you run it, I think if you run for, like I said, silver or bronze, then there's what's the real point? So I want to be running as fast as I can, running to my full potential, and yeah, hopefully running very fast.
Let's talk a little bit about 2017. It's a year that Usain Bolt has said will be his last. Yeah. So that immediately moves everybody one spot up, because Usain has won everything since 2008. When you look at the people who were on the podium in Rio, in the 100 and in the 200, what are the things that you look at and you go, okay, I have to improve these 2 or 3 things, and I will elevate myself to that podium as well?
Yeah, so I think, obviously, I said it's sad that Bolt is retiring. He's done so much for the sport of athletics. But like I said, everyone just gets moved up a spot because he was so dominant. Yeah. And yeah, you look at the guys that sort of medalled in the last few years, and you stop. Everyone's beatable, and you actually look at them. it's going to be very open.
Right.
It's sort of open season for someone else to go, right, I'm now the dominant one.
That's right.
And you've got a lot of fast people to run, and personally, I've got a lot of work to do technically.
What are some of the technical things that you think you can improve?
I think the first half of my race,
because you have great top end speed.
Yeah, I feel like my top end speed is good, and
which is why your 200 is so good.
Yeah, yeah, but actually trying to get to that point in 100 meters, if you're not, you can't give the best guys in the world 1 or 2 meters, because you're never going to run them down, because everyone's very talented. So as long as you're with people with sort of between 10 and 30 or 40, while you're accelerating, while you're building your top speed, then that's the part of me that I'm really focusing down and working on improving, because if I can get that down, then I can run hopefully a much faster 100 meters, because for me that's somewhere where I don't think I've run as fast as I necessarily should have. Running sort of, I was at 10:05 when I was 18, and I'm 23 now, and I'm under 10, but not where
you thought you would
where I would be.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of work to do that way, and if I can do that and tighten up sort of my upright running and actually make it myself more efficient, then hopefully those times will come.
Now, one of my great British friends is Darren Campbell, the Olympic gold medalist from 2004 in the relay. He got discovered on a football field.
Yeah.
How did track and field? How did you end up in track and field?
Yeah, well, it feels like a long time ago now, but yeah, once upon a time I used to be a footballer.
They said you were going to be very, very good.
Yeah, it was my whole life just feels like it could have been one way or another, and I'm so happy I found myself in athletics. And
no regrets.
No, honestly,
even when you see the salaries of those footballers, you don't go, my God, I could be.
If I was doing this for the money, then if I was in sport for the money, then I'd be like, I would have stayed with football straight, because that's where the money is at. But actually, yeah, I used to do a lot of football, and I used to always be the quickest on the pitch by a long way. And as a footballer, that helps a lot with anything you do. Yeah. And people were like, especially in school, like, why don't you just try sprinting? And I used to do it, and do you know what? Honestly, I used to hate it. I didn't hate the racing. I just used to hate the waiting around all day to run 10 seconds. We used to go with our school, and they used to, okay, we used to get there in the morning, and they were like, right, you're on late afternoon, and it just used to spend the whole day. And then you run 10 seconds, and that was it. And I used to hate that. I used to absolutely hate that. Where football, you play for an hour and a half, and you're sorted. But so yeah, and I just made the change in 2012 and decided to actually give athletics a chance, train full time, and I've never looked back really. But if 2012 didn't quite go as I wanted it to, I probably would have gone back to football, if I'm honest. I probably would have gone back, but for me, luckily, it was winning the World Juniors and making the Olympic team was just enough for me to think, right, let's commit to this and give it a go. And yeah, I've not looked back since. Well,
it's going to be a very big year for you, not just because you were an almost medalist at the Olympic Games, but because London 2017 World Championships are in your backyard. So I want to wish you all the best for 2017.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Keep being you, man.
Awesome.